God bless my brothers and sisters. What a beautiful morning. Worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness. By God's grace and mercy, He was allowed to give this message to help people have an understanding of God's grace and His mercy. We hear people recite certain verses in the Bible about how by grace we're saved, and it's not by anything that we've done, but by the grace of God. He's merciful. You see different people recite many things about God's mercy and His grace, but many don't understand because they don't have the Holy Spirit to give them understanding. The Bible say that when the Spirit comes, it will teach you all things and bring everything back to remembrance, whatsoever I said unto you. That's what Jesus promised in the Word, in the book of John. So many people don't understand what does it mean to have God's grace. And it's not just for people that portray to be believers or people that are believers. It's for those who are unbelievers as well. Because you will agree with me that in the world, you see many things happen to similar people, whether it be an innocent person that was a victim of a crime, or whether it was a person that was committing a crime, that was injured or lost their life. So you see stray bullets hit people, and sometimes you see bullets that were intended for a person hit them. So you will ask yourself, well, what is going on? Like, why does these things happen? Why do innocent people die? Why do children die? Why do, elderly people, might get robbed or murdered? Or why would a woman get raped or molested or any different thing, right? So this is how we understand. This is how we know. This is how we know why these things happen in our world. Why the world is the way that it is. And what is God's grace? And why do things happen in your life? God's grace is something that He put in this world. He put in His word, because the grace is needed as like guidance, parental guidance, or the grace is needed as protection. The grace is needed for many different things, because we wrestle not against flesh and blood. And what that means, of those who don't understand what that means, is that there are invisible entities that we are fighting against. Demons, spirits, which is the same as demons. They have jobs and they have roles. See, Satan, when you look at the devil, Satan, when he first was cast out of heaven, Lucifer, when he was cast out of heaven, he didn't know anything about man. He didn't know anything about man. So he watched and he observed and he seen what men like. Men like to have sex. He seen Adam and Eve were intimate on many instances. So he realized, okay, they find pleasure in making love. He's seen the nature of man and women. He's seen what man and woman was attracted to. He's seen the different type of things that can grow from disobedience if one doesn't obey God. He's seen how God gave man free will. God never gave Lucifer the blueprint of how humans were going to function and how they were going to live their lives. So when he was cast out, he observed and seen the heart of man. That's why you got so many false prophets that have demons inside of them that can tell you so many things. And you would say, oh, this person is telling the future. They're not telling the future. Satan knows the heart of men. He knows you desire to be rich and famous. He knows you desire to this and he desires that. If you're single, he knows you want to be with someone. There's not many folks on the earth that is single, that is young, that's not looking for a companion. So a false prophet can come and tell you, oh, God's going to send you who you're looking for. You might have said, oh, I'm taking 9 months off to not think about anybody. But you're still desiring someone after those 9 months are over. So that false prophet can come and speak. They're not predicting the future, right? That's what they believe. Say doesn't know the future. If he knew the future, he never would have did what he did against God. Come on now. So how can his demons that he created that's inside of people know the future? And if he knew the future, he knew he would never been able to overthrow God. And he knew that he would have been cast out. When he was cast out of heaven, Lucifer, he wanted to bring two people with him to judgment, a male and a female. This is where you get Adam and Eve. We all have free will. So you see the results of not obeying God. It brought sin into the world. So the reality is that when you look at God's grace, it's love, it's compassion. It's like you being a parent and your child makes mistakes, right? At a certain age, they're ignorant. So you have compassion. That means to have sympathy, pity, and tolerance. So that's grace and that's mercy. Many folks in the world grew up in dysfunctional households. Many folks in the world grew up where their daddy was on alcohol or their mother was prostituting, their mom was doing drugs. So there'll be grace over them because they never was taught the knowledge of the truth. They never grew up in a Christ-like household. They never, even in religious, even in some of you guys will say, well, look at religion today. Well, a lot of these people that were little kids at one point in time grew up like that. So God has a time that he's going to make his truth be revealed to them. Even these people in religious churches. That means these people can have been preaching for 20 years and they're deceived. God will still, or he has been trying to make himself known to them truthfully. But many reject him and they continue on preaching false doctrines and living religiously and portraying to be a true Christian. So that's grace. So when you look at things, you said, well, Brother Ron, you mentioned about children getting shot and women getting raped and victims of crimes happen. Well, it's because there's no grace. Somewhere deep down in a person's life, whether it be the children, whether it be the parents, majority of these people that are going through these things, you never see anywhere in the Bible where there's talking about how Christians were victims of crimes. They only faced persecution for the gospel's sake. They were never, robbed, raped, molested. Those things have never happened to Christians in the New Testament. Read the Word of God, brothers and sisters. The Bible tells us about many things that happened to people. How David committed adultery, how David committed murder, how Samson slept with a prostitute, how Solomon married strange women. Miranda got mad at Moses and God made her leopards for 7 days, had leprosy. So God don't leave out nothing in the Bible. You will agree with me. Anyone that was sent by God in the Old Testament that done wrong, their business was publicized before us all. We know what David did wrong. We know how David killed Uriah. We know how David slept with Bathsheba. We know how David's son died. We know how the angel was sent and killed 70,000 because of David's disobedience. We know that. There's nothing hidden from that. People that lied in the Bible, it was revealed. When you look at Leah and her sister, when it was with Jacob, how they were fighting back and forth. When you look at Sarah, how she was, she got mad at Hagar, the servant. God did not leave any of these things out. If there was flaws, it was mentioned. If there was mistakes, it was mentioned. So why is it not mentioned that those who truly were serving God didn't go through such things, but those who wasn't serving God was going through such things? You telling me right now that every person that claims to be a Christian is a true Christian? You telling me that your mom and dad that raised you and taught you things about God was a true Christian? Do you see the life of true Christians in the New Testament? They were set apart. They were different. They were peculiar people. They didn't just talk about the Bible. Many can talk about the word, but many are not living it. Many will talk about the Bible and drink and smoke and curse and watch worldly movies, get angry, get upset. So you're not seeing the fruits of the Spirit being manifested in their life. They don't even look like Christ. They're just claiming him. So God's mercy and grace will be over that person. child and sibling because they wasn't raised properly in true Christianity. They was raised religiously. So that's mercy. So God put that. So Satan has, the Bible said the ways of sin is death. And the Bible said the devil walk around like a roaring lion seeking who he may devour. You can't beat a lion. A lion is 500 pounds. No man has the ability to overpower a lion. So God, the ranger comes in. The shepherd comes in and protects you from that lion. And when that lion sees that ranger, he runs. But he won't run from you. Because the ranger is armed and equipped with something that will stop him. That's powerful and strong, which would be a rifle. So God's power stops Satan. That's why Job couldn't be touched by the devil. Satan had to ask permission for God to remove his protection. Hey God, take down your wall and your gate that's around Job's family so I can get in. Because I can't climb this barbed wire, this electrical fence. I can't get around these guard dogs. So God, remove your protection around Job so I can get him. But before, Satan couldn't touch a hair on his chinny chin chin. He couldn't mess with Job because he was protected. So you see, this is why everyone is born. Everyone is born with a pure conscience as a child. You look at little kids at a park. Look at little kids at a park. They are playing together. They're not doing things that you see adults do. They're happy. They are finding enjoyment in just running around, exhausting their energy, playing with each other. They're rejoicing and just playing. They don't know black from white, yellow from green. They don't know race. They don't know, oh, he's a Muslim. Why is his mom dressed with that um, clothes around her head, material around her head? They don't know what that is. They just might think that she's just wearing something like a hood. Kids not going to think twice about that. Adult will look and judge because their heart over time has been influenced by unrighteousness. Their heart over time has been influenced by darkness. Their conscience has become more defiled. They have given themselves over to be reprobate as far as their conscience. So they will look and judge and say, oh, look at that person. They look strange and odd. A child doesn't think that way. So now we're understanding how the grace works. Now we're understanding how the grace functions. So a child is born into the world not knowing good or evil. That's why when children die, they automatically go to heaven. There's a set age with God that a child automatically goes to heaven when they pass away as a child. And that death serves a purpose. It serves a purpose. Many times it's to humble the parents. There's no greater sorrow, there's no greater grief than you having to bury a child at a young and tender age because of disobedience and unrighteousness unto God's word. So your child usually pays the ultimate penalty because of failure, negligence, and insubordinate to obey God and his word. There's no greater grief nor sorrow than have to bury a child. Many people, and because people's hearts are not open for me to go deeper in depth into certain things, I will speak in this manner for you. And you discern what it is that I'm saying. Many things that happen, if you check background reports, why don't everyone go through the same type of things? Why is it only in certain communities or certain areas or certain parts of towns that certain things happen of certain natures? Certain parts of town, you don't see people getting hit by stray bullets. Certain parts of town, you don't see people getting robbed. You don't see the percentage of robbery high in certain places as they are high in other places. You don't see many children of certain races being exposed to certain things that can make them grow up faster or see things faster. But much of it starts in the household. Much of it. And even if a person is living in such environments, if their heart was truly for my master, Jesus Christ, if they were truly serving God, then He would protect them. I've been in many situations on this journey since 2015. I've been on this journey. I've been in situations. I've been in drug infested environments. I've been around where certain places are known for prostitution. I've been around gang infested environments, many different things. I've seen people pull bush knives on people, all different type of things. Many things people be afraid of, just the things that we have seen. I've been at places where guns were pulled out. I've been at places where I was inside of places and a person was about to kill a person. And I prayed unto God, and He heard me. And the person immediately stopped what he was doing and just walked away and left. But he was ready to kill that person. I was right there. And I started interceding. And God removed that danger. You see, brothers and sisters? So even if you were in the projects, right? And you're saying this is a bad environment. But everywhere I go is a bad environment to me. If you see women walking around with the little shorts on, you're seeing them go to the gym, they got on bras, they got on the shortest shorts, they got on leggings that makes it look like they're naked. You know, they got some leggings that match their skin color. So there's perversion and lust and seduction everywhere in the world. You see people listening to rap music, people cursing, people smoking marijuana. They legalize it in many places. You gotta smell it when you drive by or you outside somewhere. It's marijuana smoke, like just like people wear cologne. So there's darkness everywhere, but you don't have to be affected by it. And God can protect you, just like I'm protected when I go to these different places. You don't see me missing being on Facebook because I was shot or injured or, something happened to me. I'm protected. Police pull over, I comply. I'm respectful. I don't need to carry a weapon because I'm not afraid that somebody will hurt me. To die is a miracle and a blessing, so I don't need gun license. At the end of the day, if a person really wants to take you out, your gun is not going to stand a chance. Now, if you're somewhere and something happens and you're able to pull your gun, then that's going to make you feel braver, make you feel that you're able to protect yourself. But you got police that die that have guns in their hands. So it's a form of fear. But the reality is this: people look at the projects as a curse, but it can be a blessing. It just all depends on your mind frame and your heart. Most elderly communities look just like projects. Old folks, assisted living places, like where they be like 60 and 70, 80 living on their own, it look just like they're right next to each other. It look just like projects. But have you noticed though that if you took a certain class of people and put them in the projects, even though they'll be next to each other, stacked on each other, right? If you look at the community, the trash thrown outside, right? The drugs, the different things. Remember, this is all what people choose to do. This is all free will. Man don't force you to go and buy drugs from a drug dealer. Man doesn't force you. Satan doesn't force you. It's what you desire. People like the feeling of being high. If you took a certain class, why can't we pick up our trash in the projects or in the hood? Why can't we clean it up? Why don't we care for the environment that we're living in? You got people that are homeless. So people can say the projects is a place that they don't desire, but at least it's a place to live. It's because the world tells you gotta have the latest and the greatest. If I lived in the projects, I'd be blessed. Roof over my head, water, a bed, stove, refrigerator, and everything else that comes with it. You're not paying much rent, no electricity. Many folks live in the projects all their life. Many people are old that's been in the projects all their life, and their life has been blessed because they figured it out. So it doesn't have to be a curse. It can be a blessing. But why not paint the buildings? Talking about those who live there. Why not petition the community to help? Petition city council to help and take initiative. Let the parents teach the kids how to be grateful for what they have. Not to go to the corner store and on the way home throw trash on the sidewalk or throw trash in the street. Teach them through the word of God, because God is absent in much of the world. In the black community, the white community, Spanish community, just name it. God is absent. God is absent in raising these children. You don't have no standard for life apart from the Bible. You can't teach your children respect women, but then you got different men that's coming in and out of there. So he's seeing the lack of contentment. He's seeing what's normal. Oh, well, mom got different boyfriends that's coming in and out of there. So when this girl makes me mad, I'm not going to talk to her anymore. Or I want a different girl, I want a different girl. So you're already establishing lack of contentment. You're already establishing lust. So this is why grace will be over these children. This is why grace won't be over children. Because of the parents which only knows better and still choosing wrong. This will bring problems upon your life, trouble upon your life. This is why you see children face what they face and go through what they go through. Now, when every person is born, there's a significant amount of grace over them. Even these celebrities that you see, you might say, well, these celebrities seem like their life is well because of their finances. They're going through the same thing that anyone else is going through that don't have much finances. The difference is that they've been trained and taught not to publicize their information or publicize their problems. Some things do get out. That's why they always respond when something is being said about them, because they worry about their image, reputation, pride. The grace is over every human being on this earth. Every human being was designed to serve God. Everyone. Some were given callings to be certain people for God, but they have free will. So that means they could have chose to become a tennis player. That don't mean that the calling over their life disappeared. That just means that if God set their life to be able to be strong with bones, strong in muscles, strong, with certain abilities. If the person chose to run track and become the fastest track runner in their generation, that doesn't mean that's what God appointed them to do. They just had grace over their life to be great for God. But they chose to be great in sports. Or you see how some people can talk real well and say certain things, can move a whole crowd of people. These rappers and celebrities and these people a lot of these people are called to serve God. They were called to speak the word unto people. They were called to move, master the people for God. So that grace is over their life. But Satan is manipulating the grace, basically using what's over their life. That's why you see over time these icons and these celebrities and all these people, they look different as they're younger, they're up and coming, they're dropping all these albums, they're making music. Then the next thing you start seeing them decline, the grace fades because they're refusing to receive the call. They're refusing to give God the glory. They're refusing to change from rapping and singing and different things like that. It's going to happen to every one of them. Doesn't matter who they are, from celebrities to rappers, singers, you're going to see them at their climax. It's because there's grace over them. They're ignorantly doing what they're doing. They don't know any better. This is for everyone. I'm not just talking about celebrities. We're just using celebrities for this time. But this is for every human being. Every human being. Right? And I'll get into people that's not celebrities afterwards. So I'm not just talking about celebrities. I'm just showing you why they have these masses of people that can follow them. And Satan is behind much of it as well. But they were designed for God, to serve God. So a lot of times Satan seen the grace over life. Like all the people that can sing, they were not designed to sing for the world. They were designed to sing unto God. It doesn't matter who they are as celebrity R&B singers, the rappers that can sing, their voice was given to them to be able to sing unto God. If they used that voice that was given to them from God to get money from the world as an R&B singer or a rapper, they got free will. Lucifer had free will. What did he do? He chose to take what God gave him and do what? Torment the world. Where did Lucifer's power come from? Where did his abilities come from? God. So you see, when you look at these R&B singers, oh, she can sing so well. God gave her that voice for him. If she chooses to sing for the things of Satan, sex and, you know, this and that and whatever R&B singers sing about, that's her choice. That's his choice. But the grace will fade. Their voice wouldn't be as strong as it was years ago. They won't have as much energy as they had years ago when they're performing now. They're going to blame it on their age, and they're going to blame it on their eating. They're going to blame it on everything that's going on around them, but not rationalizing that God gave them those abilities. And as God giveth, He taketh away. Much is required for it. So as God waited 40 years, 30 years, 50 years for you to give Him glory, humble yourself, you'll start seeing change. And this is not just for celebrities. I'm just telling you, every celebrity it's going to happen to. It already is happening. This is why you see the many things they're going through. But they adjust to the grace of their life fading. And you say, but Ronald, what does it mean when grace fades? Well, when grace fades, it means that God was sustaining your eyesight. God was sustaining your strength. God was sustaining your energy. God was sustaining your memory. God was sustaining your skin, your health. Many different things. Because remember, God is the creator of life. Remember, He created Adam and Eve. So we know just because we come through the womb, that still God is partaking in that. Read in Jeremiah what He said to Jeremiah. He said, I formed thee. He said, before I formed thee in the belly. What's He telling you? That He's in control. The same way that sun rises and sets every day, God's in control. He controls everything. Everything. Think about why people wake up and want to be a garbage man. Why people want to be a police officer. Why people want to be a firefighter, run into fiery buildings. That's because God is doing that to balance the world out. Every job that's in this world, whether it be fast food, whether it be extreme jobs, dangerous jobs, people are all on board for it. Why? Imagine you're a creator of a game, not a game, like a computer, a computer, like a computer game. Yeah, a computer game. And you make this game and you sit back. Look how tall you are. And your game is down here. It's on a board game. You're just watching everything. Moving pieces here, moving pieces there. Correcting that, moving this, moving that. That's what God does. He's just sitting back observing. That's it. This world is one big test to see who's going to live righteously, who's going to live unrighteously. To see who's going to serve God. And the grace is there to help accommodate you to serve God until it's no more. Once the grace is gone, people die. Once the grace fades, you start becoming sickly. Your mind starts losing ability to function as it did before. Start experiencing memory loss. Your eyesight starts getting bad. You start experiencing many health issues. You start experiencing forgetfulness. You start not having energy like you used to. You will agree with me that at one point in time things were different. And you might have been eating the same way for 20 years. You might have had the same diet for 20 years. You might have done the same thing for 20 years consistently. So what is the cost? The grace is fading because you have failed to obey God and give God the glory and truly serve Him. So every human being, whether it be celebrities, look at some of these well-known preachers that have passed away. Many reasons of their cause of death they try to keep hidden from the public eye. Many of these religious organizations, which is called churches, they try to hide the reality of why this person died. Most of them, a lot of them had brain tumors, cancer, strokes, heart attacks, all the type of things that people in the world go through that don't even believe in God. The Bible says what? That we are safe in His hand. You never seen where Paul or any other apostles or anyone in the New Testament preached about having a sick day. They might have talked about their companions that was with them. We don't know much about them. We don't know if they even had the Holy Spirit. But Paul says this person was sick. We don't know who that person is. But we know Paul. We know Peter. We know those brothers who the Bible said they were filled with the Holy Spirit, that they were chosen by God. Don't tell me about a companion that was with Paul that he left sick somewhere. We don't know what that even means. But Paul never mentioned about being sick. And we know that Paul had the Spirit. Paul never mentioned, oh, I have the flu today. Oh, pray for me, brothers and sisters. Keep me lifted up in prayer. Did Paul ever, remember, the Bible don't leave out anything, brothers and sisters. The Bible even talks about when Paul rebuked Peter in Galatians. The Bible even showed you where Thomas was doubting. Even as Jesus Christ resurrected from the dead, he was still doubting. The Bible tell you that Peter cursed when Jesus Christ was getting ready to be crucified. And they were like, are you one of his disciples? People were like, no. The Bible said he cursed. The Bible don't leave out because God is true. To leave out truth is a lie. This is why you read in the Bible there's so many flaws that are mentioned of people and so many mistakes of people that are mentioned because God is true. There's no lie. Only a person that hides truth is a liar and deceiver. God is true. That's why everything in the Bible that man did is revealed, whether it be a mistake or whether it be a good deed, it's revealed. No, there's no sugarcoat in it. God's not a respecter of person. It is revealed. So let me ask you a question. All these things are revealed that took place in the Old and New Testament with people. Why was it never revealed about them having cancer, high blood pressure, bad eyesight, etc., etc., etc.? Those things were far from true believers. You guys tell me right now that if someone was to go and pay a group of people to start a church and say, look, I want you to start this church and I'm going to pay you every week thousands of dollars. Just I want you to just recite these words and get the hooping and hollering and inspire people. That's all you got to do. Just sit here and say, Jesus said, Jesus said. Would it not be possible? People not come? Of course. Remember, we are the same human beings. And look at people in the world that's going to these shows and going to Dr. Phil and they're going looking for help. So when they go to these, remember, let me give you an example. Why does Satan copy everything God does? Because it's a perfect. God's way is perfect. So he copied a perfect system. That's why he had, you heard the Bible talks about the kingdom of darkness, or it talks about Satan and his demons. And remember, it's God and he has angels. Look at Lucifer, what he has now? Demons. You see how he's trying to copy the structure? Then you look at the Bible say principalities and powers, rulers of darkness of this world. Right? Why is the Bible saying that? Because now Satan has tried to create some order amongst his demons. Just like God has archangels, he has, chief musicians, he had the angels on the holy mount. Read the Revelations. He had the 7 angels that were for the churches. He had the angel that was able to bound Satan and then loose him. He had angels that would send messages like Gabriel. So it's many different angels that has different jobs. He sent the angel for Joshua that had a sword just to fight the battle for him, to fight for Israel. So he has many angels. He had an angel that came and rescued Peter from prison. So you see, it's many angels that God has that does things. What does Lucifer do now? Has demons that has different positions, different powers. The Bible tells you in Ephesians 6:12. You see? So he copies a perfect system and creates it to be, he twists it because he's darkness, he's unrighteous. So he adds all unrighteousness to the system that he's trying to copy. Then he give it to man. You know how? Look at the military. Look at police forces. Chief, lieutenant, colonel, captain. It's the same thing Satan does in his kingdom. There's one person over everything. Then the rest all work upon him. He taught that structure to man. You see? This is why it's so much pride. Be proud to be this, proud to be that, proud to be American. That's it's all darkness. You see? Oh, I'm proud of you. That's pride. So I'm happy for you. So you see, brothers and sisters, this is the world that we live in. This is why grace fades. The coronavirus, it's not coronavirus. It's grace fading over the world. So the demons are able to have more access now, destroying humanity. When you see hurricanes, they can tell you what's going on, but they can't tell you why out of nowhere they just form. And they're formed so far over land. I mean, they're formed so far in the sea. What is pushing to certain parts of lands? They can't answer these things. They can't answer. They'll try to answer because they have pride. A person that has pride can never be wrong in their eyes. It always has to be a reason for something. But they were wrong about many things. But because the brain is intelligent, we're able to understand certain things. They're seeing the wind and the storm and different things like that. But how they just come out of nowhere. Come on, brothers and sisters. You see? So that's the grace. So as the grace fades over time, people will start experiencing challenges in their life. Celebrities, people that's not celebrities, everything. A lot of times, our great grandparents, our parents, were living unrighteously. And that will bring trouble upon your life before you know God because of their sins. You wonder why lust is so strong in you? Well, was strong in your mom. Lust was strong in your dad. So it takes God to come in your life if you truly want him to and allow him to break those generational curses. A lot of people come from witchcraft. That's why they hear voices and they see things. A lot of their parents, grandparents, great ancestors were practicing witchcraft. And those same spirits grew with the family. Because think about this. If your dad is always angry, right? What is that spirit of anger going to teach you through him? How to be angry. What do you teach your kids? How to be angry. You say, well, how does someone be angry? Well, you might say, well, shut up, I'm tired, you get on my nerves. Kids like, oh, my mom just gets my mom is so mean to me. That makes them angry. The Bible say, fathers, provoke your children to anger lest they be discouraged. So you're teaching. When you women that are meeting all these different guys, and want them to come meet the kids and y'all break up, what are you teaching them? Lust. When you're buying all these latest and greatest things, cell phones, electronics, new shoes, every other week, what are you teaching your kids? Covetousness, lack contentment. So the demons in you are helping to raise your children to be unrighteous. And you wonder why they get older, they're angry. Well, you're still angry. You told your child when he was little, if anyone hit him back. Don't let nobody punk you. Don't let nobody come on and make you cry. I'm going to beat you if they do. But when a child goes up beating people and go to prison, I did my best raising him. No, you didn't. God was not involved. So children are a reflection of their parents. Look at Isaac and Jacob.
They were a reflection of their great-grandfather, Abraham. Who was Abraham's grandson? Isaac. Who was his great-grandson? Jacob. Did they look like Abraham? Because their parents was what? Seasoned in God's word. Walked with God, knew God, and God was with them. They were protected from things that's in the world. So that means that grace accommodated them. Job was protected, his whole family was protected. That means that grace was over them. So you look in the word, you say, well, some people say they never go through anything. Well, it's just God's grace. They're going through things. Some things won't be as physical as other people might go through. They're going through it. Be it mentally, spiritually, they're going through those things. So that's what it means. This is what it means about grace. So whether you're an unbeliever or a person portrays to be a believer, because genuine believers are not going through those things. We're not facing attacks from demons. We're not having these sick days and we're bedridden and different things. Those things are not happening. We're not out here wearing no masks and washing our hands and getting a vaccine or whatever, some liquid they put together, you know. People saying, what the vaccine is this? There was smallpox before, swine flu, bird flu. I mean, many different viruses that man said was here, right? So why does this one vaccine got to be dangerous and deadly? No, but it's just some liquid they put inside a needle. No, we really live in a world where man can't understand because they're far from God. What is really going on in this world? How I go from being the way I was to the way I am now today. I mean, completely a complete 360. I say all the way around because I'm just spinning. Complete change. The word says it. People always say, man, I wish these young folks. I'm like, it's in the word, brother. It's in the word, my sister. Only Jesus Christ can do that. You see? So that's the grace. Listen, I want to share this real briefly. I got to head out of here. If you look in the Bible, it talks about being worthy in the New Testament. Jesus said, if you don't do these certain things, you're not worthy to be my disciple. Worthy. Notice that. Look that up. Many times, Jesus talked about being worthy to be his follower. I mean, everybody couldn't just come, right? He even spoke in parables. They knew their hearts wasn't open to truly receive. They just seen some things and experienced some things. They just wanted to come see something different. They were bored. There wasn't no TVs back then. So anything that happened outside, people ran to come see. There was no bullets and stuff, so nobody weren't running from shots being fired. So when things happened, people came to see. You remember in with the story of Lot, he would sit outside the city gates because there was so much drama going on inside of Sodom and Gomorrah. The gossip, the lust, everything. They've been doing these things. But listen, you got many pastors and preachers and people that are telling you about God that's overweight, right? You don't have enough self-control nor discipline to pull back from the table, to pull back from eating so much. You think that God's going to commission you to lead people, but you won't lead yourself to the treadmill or lead yourself to go walk or have enough discipline to not eat and make food your God. It's written in the Bible about gluttony in the Old and New Testament. It talks about people worshiping food. You think that God is going to use you to preach his word and teach his word, and you got bad eyesight. So if your glasses get knocked off, you really gonna be walking by faith and not by sight, trying to find your way to the nearest hand. Can't even discern that these things are a stumbling block to humble you. You think that God is gonna use you, you got bad eyesight. You're gonna go and tell somebody about having faith in my master, but you don't got enough faith to pray to receive good eyesight. You got an eagle that can fly thousands of feet and can see a mouse on the ground where airplanes fly. Whoever gave that eagle that eyesight, believe me, you can receive the same grace over your eyes. You understand? You talk about I'm weak. I don't have much strength. Whoever gave these animals this strength, you know, y'all hear stories about Samson. Oh, I don't believe that. And you got people that's in the world's strongest man, lifting 1,700 pounds, pulling airplanes, and I'm just, if you ever seen them world's strongest men competitions, I see them when I was in the world years ago, and I'm only using this for biblical reference, right? You see the story of Samson, how he was so strong. Then you look at today, you got these men that's 6'8", 400 pounds, world's strongest men, as they say, strong men, as they call them, lifting buses and people and big old Atlas stones and different things like that. And you tell me that that wasn't possible in Samson day. If you had a Brian Shaw or a Hathor back in the Bible days, wouldn't he be considered a giant? Brian Shaw is like 6'8", 400 pounds, right? If you had him back in the Bible days, if this man has lifted over 1,000 something pounds, you can't even lift 100 pounds. I go in the gym sometime. I see people trying to lift just 2 plates on a bench press. That's like 120 something pounds, and they might struggle doing that, right? You got this brother that's lifting 8 plates, you know, to where the bar is bending. So people don't have faith. But God is not going to commission these people to go out and preach for him and teach for him without having discipline over their body, without his grace being with them. He's not going to send his servants out that's sickly, that's always having complications with allergies, puffy eyes, runny noses, coughing, hacking, sneezing. What is irritating you? What is in nature that has caused you to have allergies? What is in the air? Pollen? What is wrong with pollen? You can't go smell a flower? This is Satan, man. Spirits of sicknesses have affected your immune system, causing these complications. This is why I had all these problems before. I do not now. You see? Everybody walking around drinking Red Bull and coffee, energy drinks. Where's your energy? When you was a child, when you were younger, you had more energy. You don't even do much today and you're still tired. The grace has faded. Remember, God's a giver of life. Reading the book of Luke, God said this in the book of Luke. He said, "Thou fool, thy soul is required of thee tonight." That means that God has the power of life and death, to give you life and to take your life. Many people start experiencing death. This is why you might experience pain in your chest, dizziness, strange things, because the spirits had access at that time to try to take your life because the grace faded. So that protection you had, just imagine a celebrity that walked around with 10 security guards. He's protected, well protected, and they're big as the Brian Shaw guy was telling you. It'd be hard to get to that celebrity in the middle of 6'8" men that's 400 pounds. Those are some big brothers, right? Now, celebrity walking around, not much finances anymore. One security guard that's only a little bit taller than him. What if people that want to attack them have more access to inflict harm? So you see when the grace fades, that's what happens. Because it's all designed to humble you. But if it doesn't humble you, it'll take you on. And you'll perish. So the spirits see, okay, God is not protecting this person as much as he was before. Let's go in for the kill. And they attack you. Oh, I go to the mercy room. My heart, my pain. And sometimes they even get you to where you almost do die. But God say, not yet. This might humble them. Let me give them another chance. Let's see if they're going to change. Still don't change. You've been through multiple surgeries, multiple heart transplants, kidney transplants. How is the same part of your body malfunctioning? Because the spirit has access to target that part of the body. Now, God says, you know what? No more grace over this person. That person perishes. You said they fought for so long because the fight was designed not to be that long, but for a season. If they would have humbled themselves and forsake their life of sin. Many folks that are going through those types of things, they're still living worldly. Whether it be cancer, whether it be sicknesses, they're still living worldly. They're still dressing up with the makeup and the weave and the nails, different things like that. We say they fought so long. I don't understand it. They wasn't supposed to fight that long. They fought that long through pride. They should have humbled themselves and forsake, realizing that before I got to this place, I was doing such and such. So such and such that I was doing, let me forsake that completely. Because if I was doing those things and look at my life now, let me forsake that completely and follow God. Truly follow God. Those attacks from those demons would have halted immediately, like a car with good brakes, would have came to a stop. But because of God's mercy and grace was with that person, through the midst of them fighting, having these surgeries, almost dying, not dying. Look at me, I've been shot 13 times. Why? Why did I survive? And people I know have been shot one time and died. I've been shot 13 times, 3 separate occasions, 6 times at one time. That's 13 within a span of years. 06, 09, 2013. So you do the math. How am I even functioning today? All these bullets that went through my body. Grace. My body would have collapsed. I would have died already. I'd be 34 next month, November the 7th. I would have died already. My heart would have gave out. I've been through, my body experienced too much trauma in my past life. But I'm only living by God's grace. I'm only strong through His grace. Most of the people that have been shot, ask these celebrities that's been shot, ask folks in the world that's been shot or been through any type of surgeries, they're still taking medicine for nerve damage, for pain, different type of things because their body experienced trauma. You will see their weight fluctuating. Different things are happening. There's never no consistency because the grace fades. So you see, brothers and sisters, this is my life. This is how I'm able to live today. Not by anything that I do, but by my Master's power and His mercy. He chooses to sustain me, my strength, my energy, His love, His care upon my life. And I'm grateful and I thank Him and I love Him because God is true and His ways are just. All He wants is for mankind to truly serve Him, but He won't force you. He will allow things to happen to bring you to your knees. Once you're to your knees and you truly change, you will not experience those type of things again in your life. I do not have high blood pressure. I do not hear voices or get attacked or any of those type of things as I used to. I do not have these evil thoughts coming to my mind. My mind doesn't race. I don't have no sick days, no angry days, no mad days, none of those days. Just days full of love and joy and peace. I talk to so many people, and they're always like, Brother Ronald, I don't know what it's like to have peace. I said, I'm telling you, you won't be able to figure it out. Because what you think is peace, that's not peace. People go to vacations and go to islands, and they say, this is paradise. Hawaii is in my heart. The Bahamas is in my heart. I don't have to go anywhere to find peace. It's here, within. And Jesus put that there. I don't need a break. A break from what? The same thing that's happening today is going to be happening tomorrow. Take a break and go somewhere for a week. It's going to be waiting for you when you get back. Whatever you left and needed a break from, It's gonna high five you when you come out that airplane. Hey, you're back. You ready to go through everything again? Do you need a break again? That's not intelligence, because you're only deceiving yourself. But see, I truly gave my life over to Jesus. I have peace. I have until I die. I can die today. I don't want to stay in this world anyway. All the wickedness and unrighteousness, all the evil, the sins against my God, how loving He is, how grateful He is. Look how beautiful the world is. It's the people that make it this way. Allowing Satan and his demons to cause you to live against my master. So that's what it means to have grace. This is why people go through what they go through. Somewhere down the line, God is not involved in a person's life. So anything is liable to happen. You will face kidnappings. You will face rapes. You will face murders. You will face robberies. Those things will happen because you don't have protection. If you want to live your life apart from God, then you will experience what will come apart from His protection. If you don't like the police, then they won't be there to rescue you when you're in need. If you don't like God, you don't want to serve God, then He won't be there when Satan motivates a person to harm your family or your child. He won't be there because you don't want Him there. Do everything else. You can't use God only to protect you when you're an innocent victim and someone wants to do you harm. You can't use Him that way. So you will experience robbings. Understand why you park your car in front of the light when you go somewhere at nighttime. Understand why you're afraid, you're timid, because you will be affected by what people are affected by in the world that don't live for God. You can be claiming to be a Christian all you want. You can claim to be a believer. You can go to church every Sunday, Bible study every Wednesday. You think that the opinion that you have for yourself is the same way God sees you. God will let you know He don't see you that way. He'll put it in your heart. But your pride will blind you to receiving the truth of what's going on. Questionable things will be happening. Attacks will be happening spiritually, mentally, physically. But your pride is what's guiding you. You will experience what those in the world experience because God's not a respecter of person. It never said by you just claiming Him. He already told you in Isaiah that many worship me with their mouths and with their lips they do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me. Their fear toward me has been taught by the precept of men. So you see, He already told you, y'all going to say God and Jesus, and even in Matthew 7, many going to come say, Lord, Lord, have I not? He said, I never knew you. So that was you claiming to be of me. I never claimed that you were mine. That's in Matthew 7. Look at 20 verses. So when you're apart from God, expect to experience what's going to come from being apart from Him. So when children pass away, they get shot by bullets and different things like that. I'm telling you, if God was truly in your life and He was for you, those demons, the darkness, the influence that they have inside these people will never even come close to you. They wasn't able to come close. When they tried to push Jesus Christ off the cliff, multiple times, they sought to destroy Him. They were not allowed to because it wasn't His time to face that type of what? Challenge. But when everything was finished, when the course was finished and He had to die, remember, someone had to die for our sins. There was charges against us. When the court issues a warrant, someone has to face that warrant. So He died. That had to take place. He was telling the disciples in the beginning that He must go up and face, He must be crucified. He would die and He would rise on the third day. See? So He had to go through those things. But before then, they couldn't touch Jesus. Read the word now. Couldn't touch Him. Try to push Him off mountains, push Him off cliffs, everything. So many of these things happen to let us know that we need God's intervention. We really have to have him in our life. If we don't, there's no telling what can happen to a person. From sicknesses to attacks from demons, going insane, health issues, seeing things, hearing things, losing everything. A lot of times people function in the grace that was over their life, even when they were living in sin. People are living so far in sin, but the grace is still there because it was set to be there to a appointed time until it vanishes away. So that person's like, yeah, I've been working all my life, getting this money, I've been doing this partying and everything. And they're like, oh, this stuff, sin has brought them so much joy. Because the grace was there not allowing certain things to affect them in the midst of what they were doing. Not that God was accommodating what they were doing. But remember, every person's life is already set out when they're going to live and when they're going to die. So it was a set time that grace will fade over their life. So a person say, man, I don't know what it is no more. When I smoke this marijuana, I just get real dizzy and strange now. When I get drunk, it's like I throw up immediately. There ain't no grace anymore. God is saying, okay, you done partied it out, you done lived it out, you done did it on your own all this time. Remember, God is older than the world itself. So God doesn't have anxiety. God is not impatient. God can say, hey, this person's name is Mikey Joe. Mikey Joe, I'm going to try to reach out to Mikey Joe all throughout his life. But at the age of 50, Mikey Joe done flew airplanes, done been in the military, done went skydiving, bungee jumping, done made $1 million something dollars. He gonna say, but at the age of 55, because I'm gonna remove that grace over Mikey Joe's life. And then once he moved that grace, Mikey Joe that you remember ain't gonna be the same. Mikey Joe might become homeless on the street. Mikey Joe might start talking to himself. Mikey Joe might lose all his money because that grace faded. Are y'all following, brothers and sisters? It starts off as a child where the grace is so strong over you. Think about children. Children that don't experience certain things. They fall down and never really break a bone. You know, they be at parks just playing. It's grace. As time goes by and they become more influenced by darkness through family, through what the family's allowing them to watch, TV shows. Then you start seeing the grace over them starts changing. They start experiencing more things, right? Or some kids are born with not that much grace at all anyway. They are already was experiencing things when they was just born. A lot of children are born through fornication and born through sin, so there's not much protection over the child with these premature births and different things like that. They was born through sin. I'm just giving y'all the real. This is all in the Word of God. You see why many don't want to serve God because it's too deep. But we'll leave it there. Remember, many can talk with me and learn these things, but I can't spend, the whole day talking about these deep things. These things are for conversations. This is just to give you a taste to see that it's deeper than what you understand. I love you all. I pray His word has blessed you as much as the Lord allowed me to receive by His grace and His mercy. I pray you all have a blessed day. Remember, a day apart from God has to truly be in your heart. Can't just claim it. Can't just go to a church. Some of the churches are not even recognized by God. God don't call them churches. You call them churches. They call organizations to Him. A true church, you will see the power of God. It will look like the book of Acts. If that's not how your church looks, it's not a church of God. It's a church of man. A church planted by Satan. Read Revelations. Jesus called them the synagogues of Satan. I love you all. God bless. Peace be unto you all.